Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? I'm sorry I'm eating a Jolly Rancher that I just found after probably like 15 years of being lost. But it's me, Mike Lepre, King Lego, legitfantasysports.com. It's the end of the week, so that means legit paranormal time. Joining me, my genius friend, Genius Kev. Kev, how are you doing?
Hey, doing good, King. Just enjoying the Sunday. Looking forward to another show with Ocean State Paranormal.
Isn't it like a whirlwind of a Sunday for us between the
Yeah,
football show this morning, this show now, and then pulling our hair out the rest of the day watching the game?
yeah.
Right?
I'm actually kind of happy we're doing this one because it's a distraction from thinking about the game. But by the time this show is over, there'll only be about 2.5 hours left before the Super Bowl. So I'm actually kind of happy about it.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
So joining us, it's not paranormal if you don't have Buddy there. Buddy, how are you today?
Hey, how you guys doing?
How's it going, buddy?
I'm at the tail end of a terrible flu, so I'm feeling a whole lot better this week than I was last week. I am not drinking right now, thank God. I'm just drinking water. But if I was drinking, it would be the other one. The other one by by Tilted Barn. It's really good beer. I might crack one later for the game when I watch Tom Brady lose.
Is this the first show that you'll be sober?
That I've been sober? Yeah.
I'm not sure what to expect.
I just can't fathom drinking a beer right now. I haven't really eaten anything, so.
So Kev, Buddy's bringing along his friend, and here he is, Charles Reese.
Howdy.
Charles, how are you?
I'm great. How are you all?
I'm doing good. Buddy, would you like to give a little
intro? Okay. I first met Charles about a dozen or so years ago when I visited first to the Nathaniel Green homestead. We were doing an investigation there. Charles was a docent already, which is a tour guide. The following summer, I became a tour guide there, and I helped out around the grounds and whatnot. Just my passion for history and the paranormal kind of meshed right there at Nat Green down in Coventry in Rhode Island. Charles had already been doing a long-running YouTube series called Creepy Places of New England. He took it into Europe and did Creepy Places of Europe. This guy's been around the world literally to investigate the paranormal. So we did a lecture series between us for several years at local libraries where I would present my stuff. He would present his stuff. And it was pretty good and successful. And a few years ago, Charles just started investigating with us. He brings a wealth of paranormal investigative tools with him. He's been everywhere. He's seen a lot of stuff. He's debunked a lot of stuff, so Charles is a good guy to have along.
I was like a stray cat. I wouldn't leave him alone, so they just let me come in.
Good. Hey, so before I ask Charles my first question, Kev, make a memo to get Buddy a better poster for behind him for next show.
Oh, yeah, no, it's hung shitty. It's terrible.
Then the white piece of paper, and it's paranormal with
it's a good poster.
Black electric tape on white paper. Kev, get after him, please.
Yeah. I was talking about doing like a green background and putting something up digitally, so I'll have to look into that.
So, Charles, we've been doing this show with Buddy, maybe 3 or 4 weeks now, and we come across as very skeptical. Although I'm really not that skeptical.
Good.
I believe in a lot of things, actually. I just like to, I don't know. I believe in things, not people. Does that make sense? So, I know stuff happens, but sometimes I just don't believe the certain people that it's coming from. But that's just kind of how I am. When did you start? When did you start getting into what you would call paranormal, dealing with all this stuff? How did this start for you?
Well, I want to say it was probably about 15, 16 years ago. I moved into this apartment in West Warwick, Crompton area, which kind of looks like the white ghetto. The apartment was old, but, it had stuff growing and the roof would leak and the landlord wouldn't fix it. The usual stuff. And of course, I got my ass out of there. But it did have one positive thing, was that it was haunted. That was probably the only good thing about it. It didn't happen right away. But at first, one night I was in bed and it was about 1 a.m. in the morning. By the way, I'm a horrible insomniac, like really bad, which is probably why I'm almost looking like death right now because I didn't sleep well last night.
That's fine.
About paranormal, I guess looking like death isn't so bad. And then I looked at the edge of my bed and there was a woman standing there, and most cases having a woman in your room wouldn't be so bad, but it was 1 a.m. in the morning and she wasn't invited. And I could describe her that she had like blonde hair and she had like a gray sweatshirt on. Now, the first thing I thought was, oh shit, somebody broke in. And I actually remember grabbing for the phone to call the police. And then this figure disappeared, kind of like, trying hard to describe it, like faded from outside in. Mm. And then I'm like, I turned the light on and there was like nobody there. And I'm like, okay, I didn't do much drugs, and at least at that point. And I don't really drink. Sorry, buddy. I leave that to Buddy. So I'm like, okay, maybe. And at first I thought maybe I was just very, tired and stuff. So I was still skeptical. And then it seemed to increase. I started seeing a monk in my room. One time the monk was actually praying at the side of my bed, and I thought I was really screwed because I'm pretty sure if a ghost monk's praying for you, you're like really in trouble.
I would think.
I would think. And then I had a roommate, and now my roommate is super skeptical, almost borderline cynic, and he started experiencing stuff. He saw a shadow moving in his room. We started hearing voices. Objects were moving, and then it kind of like stopped. It just like for like a whole year, it was like almost like The Conjuring or something like that. Like nothing like crazy, but it was like constant. Then it just stopped. And that's when I really got interested in the paranormal from all that crazy shit that happened. I think I might have told Buddy about it.
So wait, let me just ask a quick question. So the blonde girl at the end of the bed, she imploded when you went to go near her, I guess?
No, when I reached for the phone.
Reached for the phone. Okay. What kind of feeling did she give you?
I didn't get any like hostile feelings. But like I said, I really thought it was a legit person standing in my room, so I wasn't concentrating on that.
But you didn't think she was gonna like attack you? That's
no. It was more like I'm being stared at. Like it's like, who is this person? Who is this man?
No, you were in the room.
I had a feeling, because it looked like she was like looking directly at me. Now, interestingly, she didn't move. But the monk, I remember the monk did. The monk would move around the room.
That's what I'm saying. The monk knew you were there. He was aware that you were there.
Yes, he was very aware that I was there because there was some interactions. An example, one night I said, I kind of got along. I kind of was like acknowledging them after a while. I thought that would be, I think I saw it in a movie or something like that, and I just started doing it. And I mentioned one night about coming by and saying hello, which was really stupid of me in many ways. And later on that night, he stood at the edge of my bed, just waving like this. Didn't say a word, just waved like this. And I'm like, well, maybe next time I should ask for money.
All right. Look, here's the thing. All right. So, Charles, the minute there's a ghost in my room, I think my immediate question or request would be, get the fuck out. And that's it. Done. Like the fact that you have a conversation with them repeatedly and that you're acknowledging with them and in an odd way, it seems like you're just living with them, blows my mind. Because I'm out of there. I don't know you, bags packed, gone.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. And from the very way you started this story, where you said that was the best thing that came out of the year in the apartment was that it was haunted. For me, everything else you described, the leaks, everything that seemed like minor issues compared to it being haunted.
Yeah. Well, believe it or not, when all that stuff started happening, now I was skeptical, so we actually checked for mold. And we were actually, and I was, and especially my roommate too, we were worried about maybe there was some type of carbon monoxide poisoning, like hallucination. Not. No, I'm not saying it wasn't. And by the way, despite all that, these crazy shit, doesn't mean it wasn't a hallucination. Even I will admit. I mean, I don't. If you saw that apartment, there was some poison going on in that apartment. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. They seem to be awfully, and the stuff I had with them seemed to be very interactive. And I never got I was ever in any danger. I just didn't like being looked at in the middle of the night when I'm sleeping or in my room or. But they did, for a while, they weren't doing anything with my roommate. Now, my roommate had some minor experiences, but nothing, he just brushed it off. He heard some like music and he brushed it off. And then I'm like, I'm pissed. I'm getting tired of being called insane. And I actually told them I was going on one of these trips. And just before I left, I'm like, why don't you do something to my roommate tonight? And it did. It happened. He comes to me and goes, you're never going to believe what happened. Somebody was like repeatedly knocking at the door at 3 a.m. in the morning, and I kept answering, and there was nobody there. And then after that, he started experiencing more stuff, and he started seeing stuff and hearing stuff. He's still not convinced, but he's open-minded at least.
So that's what we would like refer to in the paranormal world as like an intelligent haunt. Like it interacts with you. You can have it do it, and it does something, and it like you ask for a knock, and they'll knock. It's just eerie how in tune they are with you in the moment,
Yeah.
So Charles, you mentioned the blonde woman. You mentioned the monk. It sounds like the monk was kind of happened several times. Was it the same thing with the blonde woman, or were those kind of the only two?
She only appeared once, but there was also a child. And I remember seeing him once. But my gut feeling, this is just a gut feeling, that at the time I had a pet hamster, and every time it always seems like every night its tank cage, whatever, was open, just the top portion, he couldn't get out. And my gut feeling was that the kid was playing with the hamster. And then there was the Marine that I saw once, who I've often got that he might have been from Vietnam. That's, like I said, this is all like gut feeling. This is not like scientific crap. So
the Marine?
The Marine. There was a Marine in the house. But
how do you know he was a Marine?
He was dressed as one.
Christ almighty. What did he say?
He just stood he didn't say nothing. He just stood in front of me with like his hands behind his back. They never really said anything to me when they were appearing. And the kid, the Marine, and the woman never moved, but the monk moved around a lot. They always look like kind of like statues. Matter of fact, the way they looked, the woman, like if I threw something at him, like it would hit because he looked solid. But the monk looked more like a shadow. It was kind of weird.
The kid, the Marine, and the girl, Kev, they just stood still.
Yeah.
The monk, however, walked around.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
So I gotta play my inner Buddy card here. Whenever Buddy kind of goes through his stories, he starts with he talks about the history. So did you actually look into the history of the building? Was there like anything that tied those personas, I guess, to the place?
Here's I started looking into it because there was actually a ghost tour in the area, and they stopped at my apartment. And I was like, because I remember looking outside, and I'm like, my roommate's name is Gene. It's like, Gene, there's a bunch of people outside with candles. Should we be worried? And then I went outside, and they said that this apartment is haunted because it was built about the 1860s, and it was a bordello at one time.
Oh, there you go.
And then, but it was also apartments. Yeah, it makes me wonder what the woman really wanted.
Yeah.
And it was also a video rental store too. So, but I didn't hear anything about deaths. But if the building's that old, probably.
Yep.
So, all right, that happens. Where do you go next? Like, as far as like telling people, like, social media starts. Like, where do you go next with it? Like, what happens next for you? Like, what happens next for Charles? Like after that, the Marine and the girl and that situation at home.
Well, believe it or not, I actually didn't really tell anybody about it for a long time. The only person I did talk about it with was my roommate because I was like, this is like batshit insane, you know? Who is gonna believe me? And of course, I'm also a writer, so I started writing stories about it because it was just so weird. But then I went to college at URI, and they had a ghost.
What dorm?
Was that?
What dorm?
Oh, I didn't stay at the dorms. I went to the Kingston campus, and so that's when there was a group there called. They changed their name recently. URITE, University of Rhode Island Ghost Hunting Team, and I decided it's like this might be fun. For one thing, I just went to college, you know, went home at that shit apartment, and then I just would go back. So I was like, I want to do something, and this might be kind of interesting. Maybe I'll get answers. And so I joined up with them, and I started learning more about it, watching Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures and stuff like that, watching stuff on YouTube and everything, and kind of taught myself how to do it all. But I've had a lot of nice adventures, and eventually I started doing YouTube stuff on YouTube with like originally just short clips of haunted areas, and then I started adding more paranormal investigation stuff.
Yeah, a ton of places.
Yeah, that's yeah. All right. You know what? If I was you guys, what I would do is I would get like I'd almost make it like a pro wrestling card. I would show all the who's who that's going to be there that night, and then I would get a bunch of you guys all together, go into the host haunted place you can find, and then charge like bachelorette parties or something like that through the fucking nose. You guys would make a fortune. The whole paranormal thing right now is like everywhere. So it's saying that you must deal with a lot of phonies. So
oh God!
How do you weed through the psychos and the people that are having real events?
Well, now we use Buddy because Buddy has a little bit more psychological doctor stuffy. Like can't even talk today.
Okay.
Initially, I just ignored them. I had this one woman called me up about her haunted apartment, and for one thing, she sounded nice, but she sounded completely crazy. And she was like, I have this infrared camera outside, you know, pointing outside. And every time it rains, there's orbs. And I'm like, well, because it's rain. But I knew there was no way, if there's no way of convincing them, there's no point that it's rain. I had people giving me phony photos. There was, and I won't name the location. I won't because I have a different opinion on it. But I swear to God, there's a bed and breakfast that isn't the Lizzie Borden house. I'll definitely tell you it's not the Lizzie Borden house. That I swear is running like a Scooby-Doo type scam. That was my gut feeling. I didn't buy any of their crap, and I swear to God, the footsteps was actually them doing it.
I don't actually blame them. Like, you know what?
No.
For Scooby-Doo type thing. Scooby-Doo is bringing money through the door. Tell you that much.
Like, there's a ghost. Grab it and pull the mask off. Oh my gosh, it's stealing it.
God damn you meddling kids.
But I usually don't confront people, especially if they There was one lady who gave me a photo that she really believed it was her father in it. Whoever gave her that photo photoshopped it, but she believed it. I'm not going to tell her it's not because it gave her comfort. Sometimes ignorance is bliss, and sometimes people in the paranormal just want to believe because they want to believe that there's something after this, especially with loved ones.
Yeah, that's what would be tough. I could see that. I've always thought of that. Where are you as far as you believe in those people that stand in the middle and just look around the room and just like calling stuff out?
No, I don't.
What are they called? What's the direct term for them? Mediums.
I try to be open-minded. I really do. Most of people has not convinced me, but I try not to say for sure. But I really don't believe that. I've come across many mediums that Not saying the ones that we work with. I never really got to do anything with her, but they're kind of like phony. And I hate saying it because maybe there are some legit mediums out there. You know, I have yet to personally in person interact with one that was like, damn it, tell me the lottery numbers.
Yeah.
But that's just me. That's just me. I try to be fair. Maybe I'm just too skeptical at times, especially with mediums, because we have had incidents of mediums scamming people, and I kind of get turned off by that. So my guard is higher.
It's really hard to believe, I think, for regular people. And when I say regular people, I just mean people that are not involved with anything paranormal. They don't have like a background. To me, it seems like, why would all our cousins always be on hold? Like, always be standing in the green room, ready to come talk to us in case we get picked out of this room full of people.
Yeah.
Like my uncle, you know what I mean? I got an Uncle Joe, right? My Uncle Joe is not going to be hanging around some place where the meeting goes, and your Uncle Joe wants to talk to you. There's no way Uncle Joe is making that trip. So I have a hard time with that. It's just weird to me. That's where I feel like they're being phony. And I also think what they really are masters at reading people and
Cold
being
readings.
able to figure out hints
reading,
from people.
yeah.
Cold readings.
It's all about like, they're looking at you to get a response from you, and the minute they get a response from you, they're going to work on that. They're going to pull that. They're going to drill what they know. It's all salesmanship, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Some of them might be real. They have to
Yeah.
be, right? Someone has to be real, maybe, but
Yeah.
a lot of it's salesmanship.
I'm actively trying to get different mediums here on the show so you can maybe examine them.
Can't hear you, buddy.
Oh,
Hey, buddy, a little bit louder.
Can you hear me now? Can you?
Yeah.
Okay, so I am actively trying to get different mediums to come on the show so you can maybe examine them via the internet here. I don't know. Maybe they can do something. We have worked with some of them. I've worked with mediums who are, I feel, who are pretty good, who are pretty solid, and we have one guy who I'd love to try and get on here. He's a very busy man. He's an author, and he does a lot of online stuff now because of COVID. But
he's almost got me. That guy, I know who you're talking about. He's almost got me convinced.
Dale dropped his name. Roland Comtois.
Yeah.
He says really
He's the only one that's gotten me
super personal things. Super
Yeah.
personal things you wouldn't know. You know. So
There's always one,
like
right?
to try and delve that way at some point, but maybe another show. You know.
Yeah.
There's always one. There has to be, right? That's how I feel.
there's
I
many,
never feel anything.
but there's so many more that are not. So I'm selective.
Kev, you wanted to speak?
Yeah, I want to ask a question. Switching gears a little bit off the medium thing. Just a question for Charles. So the things that you described, very, very active. Like a lot of stuff we've talked about on other shows. It's been my buddy's gone over some of the tools like spirit boxes and some other things where it's almost like it's you really have to look for it. Whereas the stories you were going through with that apartment, it's like kind of in your face, like anyone could see them. No special tools, none of that stuff. Has that been kind of the majority of your experiences? Like you mentioned, traveling, investigating things. Have you had other experiences like that vivid?
There was a few instances that would be like maybe I've saw somebody. There was a church. I won't give their names just in case, because I know there's don't want to make it political, but there's very conservative people who may not be very happy with paranormal stuff. And I swear there was this incident in the basement, and it was me and 3 others were sitting in the basement, and we were actually doing an investigation. They were a little bit more open-minded to it as long as you kind of kept hush-hush a little bit. And we could like see like movement in the background. Looks like there were people wearing hats, like suits and stuff like that. And there was also, I swear I saw something that looked like we would call it a demon, I guess. But I don't believe that demons are evil. I believe in more of the traditional Greek stuff. So because I never got it was an evil entity or anything like that. But that was probably the closest I've ever experienced where maybe I saw something else. Sorry, that screen just went big. I'm like, oh, focus on
it. So that was the scariest thing you've seen.
Yeah, even though I never got that dog. God, it reminded me of the dogs from Ghostbusters. That's what I keep is like. Okay, maybe either my imagination is super hyperdrive, or those things really exist. But I never got that it was evil. I just got it was just there. It was just what it was.
The first time that I investigated with Charles before he joined Ocean State Paranormal, this is like going like 5-6 years ago. He took me to a house. It's a colonial house in Fall River. You could see the Braga Bridge right in front of us. We're sitting. There's 4 of us sitting in this living room. The whole house is empty. In front of the living room is a wall, and then it was 2 sides, so you could go around the right side or the left side to get into the kitchen, which had this back door. We're all sitting there, just bullshitting in the dark, and the door slams open and slams shut, and somebody walks in. It's like, hello. We all get up. We all walk into the kitchen. Nobody's in there. That was my first scary moment with Charles, where my heart jumped like 4 feet, and I'm like, that was a ghost.
The door opened and closed, and then someone said,
You heard
hello?
it was the old.
Yeah.
What kind of knob is that, Charles? The old like 17th
Like a
century
latch. Like a
iron
latch.
knob that, and you hear the click, you hear the door open, and then slam shut. And heard footsteps, and nobody was there. And that was like maybe 3-4 seconds went by. Hello, get up. Both of us.
So then, what do you say
either one
after
of us went around the other side and met each other. It was weird.
What do you say to the entity after that? You don't tell it to get out of the house?
No.
Not our place.
Am I wrong here? My reaction is to tell it to get out of there. Like, I don't want it to do it at all. I wanted to leave. So,
Mike,
you guys are able to be like, oh, yeah, the door slammed once and twice. And hello.
To be honest, we usually
I can't believe even that, man. I'm being honest, guys. That's like, what's that?
We usually tell them to do it again.
Out of your house,
I think that.
Kevin, are you hearing anything?
No, I think they crosstalk, but I guess Charles, you go first.
Oh no, he's dead.
Yeah. Did you say do it again, Charles?
Yeah, we'll tell him to do it again. There's kind of
You
like
don't want him to leave?
thrill in it, though.
Charles, but you don't have a problem with them being around, do you? Like, you don't mind coexisting.
No, I mean, I think people are worse than spirits and ghosts. So, I mean,
oh yeah,
I mean, a ghost is not going to mug me, or set my house on fire or anything like that, as far as I know. And so, I mean, I'm scared of the living. There's always that term that be scared of the living, not the dead.
So the question for Charles and for Buddy, like that attitude, do you think that attitude plays a lot into why you actually see stuff and feel stuff and you're able to investigate this? Because I think if you're closed-minded, personally, I would think it would be a lot more difficult. So I'm just kind of curious if you think that plays into why you have so many of these experiences.
I believe you got to kind of like balance it. You can't be so open-minded that every time a thing falls, it's like ghost. I've literally seen that. There was woman was telling me about the time her like this shower thing would fall, which happens in my house all the time. It's just the way it does. It's called gravity. And she's on ghosts, and I'm like, okay, that's not convincing, but okay. But then you can't be so close-minded that you can see a tap dancing shadow figure in front of you and be like, oh, please, that's not real. And I don't know if ghosts or spirits tend to reveal themselves only to people who are open-minded. I just think people who are closed-minded just dismiss stuff like that off the bat. At least in my opinion.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe in any way that paranormal spirits, ghosts are linked to UFOs? Could they be the same thing, in other words?
I guess anything's possible, but I don't believe that personally. I think UFOs, well, one, the term UFO, unidentified flying object, could be anything. Could be planes or buildings or birds. Okay, any more, buddy?
Yeah,
language.
Wait. Here's my question, though. So let me just ask this question. So, like a spirit, a ghost, that's somebody that's I don't know if we can be in agreement. It seems like it's always somebody that's stuck there for a reason. We've had this conversation before. Like it hasn't passed on to where it's supposed to go, or it stayed behind for a reason to get something done or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, can we agree on a broad idea of what that is? All right. So we don't all see it, and we can pick it up on frequencies because it's almost, they seem to be almost working at a different time or different. Yeah. So hear me out. The timeline has always been linear. That's what a timeline is. Like within the last 12 years, NASA had a study of the linear line, and they got a blip. So where they got the blip, it was like 1, 2, 3 other points where like a timeline could have went through. Yeah. Kind of not proving, but going along towards what I believe in, multiple timelines. Like, in other words, if you just picture multiple timelines like this, but then, this is going to get weird. They don't just go straight up. They would go like that. So time would be something that's almost like as crazy as space. So the reason I see UFOs and sometimes I see ghosts on the same playing field is that maybe UFOs know how to skip that timeline or skip that frequency to where we can't pick them up. The way they move without propulsion, all the shit that UFOs do. And maybe that's where the ghosts come in too, because maybe they're on just a different, bear with me, different frequency, different timeline, and they kind of zzz in every now and then. Does that make any sense, Charles?
Yeah, actually it does, because I had to take
that?
Physics
all right. So
in school.
That's where I see them as, what's that?
I took physics in school one time, and so a lot of the stuff you're saying is related to, like, the idea of string theory and quantum physics and stuff. So yeah, except you
bang
did
your mic. Charles, bang your mic.
Bang, bang, bang.
Charles, bang you froze on us. I hate to tell you that. I need you. All right, here you go. Repeat what you just said because I wanted to hear it.
Yeah, what you're saying is very much related to physics. Quantum physics and string theory.
Kev, is this the mystery itself?
Yes. And multiple universes and stuff like that. So it makes sense to what you were saying. So I totally followed you, because let's just say a UFO is an alien ship. Okay, we'll just go with that theory right now. For them to come to Earth, the nearest star, I want to say is Alpha Centauri, but it might be a different one. For a ship to travel from that star to Earth would probably take anywhere from maybe to about 150 years. That's a long time. So if you imagine something on the other side of the galaxy, we don't have warp drive here, or light speed that they have in Star Wars. It would. We don't.
Well, we don't.
We don't. So there's always the idea that maybe and some people have theorized that they bend time and space to travel, kind of like almost like a wormhole, I guess.
Oh, no. Match the two dots up, bring them together.
Yeah. And so maybe they are entering another dimension, another plane of existence, another frequency. It's very far, if you read up on particularly quantum physics stuff, that stuff is like blows your mind. And I'm like, oh yeah, sure, that stuff is normal and scientific. Ghosts, no, that's you're weird from them.
But no, actually, oddly enough, so like I catch a lot of flack because I believe in UFOs. I've seen a UFO, and I get a feeling that somehow they're connected to other things. I know there's a dumb drawing. Can you see that right there?
Yep.
So the line went straight, the linear NASA line of the time, and then it did a blip. And then when it went up and did the blip, see every dot?
Yeah.
That's another dot you can draw as a timeline that shot through at the same time. So they actually caught slight evidence of the fact that there could be multiple timelines. I know that's a crazy out there thing, but I always kind of feel like that it's all connected. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe that it's all connected. Buddy?
Charles might actually have a photo that he wanted to share of a possible UFO.
Oh yeah, I do have one. I did.
There we go.
A couple years ago, wasn't too long ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I was in Switzerland.
Hey,
Lucerne, a place called Lucerne, which is probably like one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. And me and a friend and I were walking back from a monument called the Lion of Lucerne, which is a sad lion that's dying. Ooh, happiness. And we're heading to a bridge. There was 2 bridges that have, one of them I know was called the Dance of the Dead Bridge. And I'm totally blanking on what the other bridge was, but they're like a couple, 600 years old. It's Europe, so everything's like super old there. And as we're about to cross the bridge, I looked up in the sky and I saw 5 lights in a straight line just above the city. Now, it's not a big city. It's and they don't have skyscrapers either. And there's also surrounded by some of the most gorgeous mountains on Earth. So I was able to eliminate, buildings, and it was barely moving, so it definitely wasn't a passenger jet or anything like that. The only thing I guess you can never get, eliminate is military.
3 lights.
Crazy shit all the time. What's that?
Charles, was it 3 and then 2? The lights. Were there 3 and then 2? How is it set up? Wait.
They were like in a row, 5 in a row like this. I get it on the screen so you can kind of get the idea. And I snapped 3 photos of it.
Really?
Yeah. So I got it on my computer whenever. What's that? You're kind of breaking up a little bit on my side.
Everything keeps freezing up. The snow's killing us. Did it fly away?
Yes. It was okay. It was like moving slightly like this. And then we crossed. I wanted to get a different view of it. I'm like, look at that, look at that, look at that. And so we move to the Witch Tower, Switzerland overall. And then we looking and I'm like, where did it go? We didn't see it take off because we wanted, me and my friend were trying to get into a different angle. And then we're like, where'd it go? Where'd it go? And I was like, told him, I was like, Andrew, that's a UFO. And I've never seen a UFO. And I'm a little skeptical on UFOs, but that was a UFO.
Now, did you tell anybody afterwards?
Yes.
You did.
There was the tour guide we were with. She was a lady. She was a funny lady from old funny lady from Britain. And she was like, oh, yes, this place has a history of UFOs. And I'm like, well, no wonder why. It's a beautiful place. I'm probably just coming to visit.
Charles, why that's crazy to me is my vision was when I was with my friends in senior in high school, we were going to take these girls to like walk around and drink. We thought we might score, which would never happen, by the way. Never. So Kevin knows. So we end up in this green area. We come to this area, and there was just this thing. And it was 3 lights and 2. It wasn't really making a sound, but you could feel that it was there. And we just kind of stared at it, not scared, just kind of trying to figure out and couldn't figure out how big it was because the darkness was so like long. It was like, how long is this thing? And when I say it went gone, like gone, it moved so fast, no noise, no blowback, didn't feel any wind, didn't feel any propulsion, nothing. It was gone. The guy that saw it with me, he's now one of the sergeants at Pawtucket, the police. Me and him never told anyone that we saw this for years. I'm talking about like must have been about 20 years between me and him that we brought it up one day drinking beers. He's like, "You remember when we saw that thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, totally." And we compared, and our notes were exact. And then one of the girls that was there, also remembers seeing that and it being exact. So I'd love to see what you have, man, because if it's anything like what I saw, it's going to really freak me the fuck out because everything's starting to seem like it's
Yeah, I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get it up now.
That's what she says. I mean,
sorry. No, I didn't go there. Okay, I got it up. Don't.
Hey, that's what he says.
We can go all day with that.
Yeah.
So, not sure how to do this, so just let me know.
You get a share screen. It's in the bottom, it says share. Just close out all the tabs, and then you'll be ready for this.
Yeah.
Share screen. Do not show this tip again. Okay.
You go all the way to the final thing. You just pick the StreamYard one.
Your entire screen, share. Okay, just
All
let me
right.
know. Because I don't know.
I'll just bring it up. Boom.
Okay. Make sure there's nothing you can't see over here that you shouldn't be seeing.
Yes.
So, right here is what is called the Witch Tower. They used to put witches there in Switzerland. So here's the city, and right here is where the lights are. Let me try to do a closer up.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like little windows.
Yeah.
I might go back in. Charles, like back up. Let me see the whole thing go by. Son of a bitch. Now there's nothing.
Yep.
There is no like next level to this place. Yeah, there's nothing up there.
No. As you can see, here's the city itself right here. You can see the city's flat. And all here, you can't really see it because it's nighttime, it's mountains. I think there's a mountain over here, and I think there might have been over here. I think I have another one because I took 3 of them. No. Oh, it was a clear night. It was beautiful. And here's a better one.
Oh, there you go.
Wow. Fucking A, that reminds me of it too, man. The way that the lights are.
And of course, here, and I made sure I got images of the buildings, you know, to show what it looked like. Give like a scale, I guess. This one was actually a pretty good one because if you go closer, you can actually see more of the lights.
Wow.
And this was taken with a phone because I didn't have my camera with me, but luckily my friend Andrew had the phone.
Were people like just pissing their pants in the streets? Like, what the freak was going on here with this thing going up?
Yeah.
Like that?
Well, actually, it was really nobody around that night. I don't know if anybody else saw it. Despite that, you know, all the lights are on. We crossed the bridge, and we were the only ones crossing the bridge, which the bridge is right over here. I would have sworn I heard other people talking about weird lights in the sky, but it seemed like it didn't really affect anybody by it. Because like I said, there is sort of like this history of like UFOs in the area.
It's crazy.
You have any other cool pictures, Charles?
That is really cool.
Let me try to
photo.
Yeah, let me make sure I get the correct photos. Oh, how about this one?
Kev, that was legitimately what I used to remember.
We just have a photo of the grave of Jim Morrison.
Wow.
Paris.
Haven't they stolen that like 100 times?
No, but they vandalized it. You can't really see it. Why am I using my finger? You can't see me. You can see that they've had a lot of stuff put around it. The grave site itself hasn't been taken, but people have been vandalizing it because that's what people do. I just want to show that one because it's Jim Morrison. Here's another photo. Let me get this up and running. This was taken at a church in Rhode Island, and it was in the basement area. And right here, you can see a figure, person standing behind the counter. Right here.
I can't.
I know it ain't a great photo. It ain't a great photo.
Wait, let me ask you this: is it just from like the waist up?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
right here. Because here's the counter, and here's the top of the counter, and there's the bingo sign. And so there was a person standing right over here that I did not see when I took the photo.
I can kind of see that.
I know it ain't the best. Maybe it could be my computer. It ain't the best, and I try to my best to make it loud. I could show you the original photo. It might not be the. My computer is, it's not great. So here's the place. I should have used this one first. Now here's the counter.
Okay.
This is where I guess the old Catholics go and drink a lot and play bingo. Now you could probably see it right over here, and I'll go do a closer up. Close up. And
you can see it now.
Yeah, this might be a little bit better, but there's the figure right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's creepy.
It actually made it into a book.
Wow, it looks like a demon almost.
We think it might have been a priest.
Close.
6 on one hand, half a
same
dozen
thing.
on the other.
You're gonna get so much trouble. And no, this is just dust.
Orbs.
Dust. Orbs. We'll just say demons. Why not? Why not?
I want to know what the bingo place is and if they still play bingo.
I think they do.
Oh, I love me some bingo.
And I'll show you one more.
Charles also has some audio that he has me going to play for him.
Because my speakers are not the best. This is at the Lizzie Borden house. This was kind of weird, but I took the photo. I think this was the Bridget Sullivan room.
That's weird, just as it is. That's a weird picture. I don't like that picture. Just looking at it the way it is, without even having anything paranormal.
I'm with you. If I were to take my pictures from the picture hut thing back in the day, I'd be like, no, sir, you can keep this one.
Yeah, I'm nervous looking at this.
Because I know that's an evil bear. Over here is like this white thing over here.
That's not you?
No, because I'll show you in a second. Because I saw it when I took a photo, and I'm like, what the hell is that? So then I took this photo, and there's nothing. And then I decided, okay, maybe it was my fingers. Yeah. So I put my fingers up, and then this happens. Here's the light, and here's my finger, and there's the light. Now, maybe that could be a reflection off of something.
Did you have the flash? Were you using the flash?
Probably. That's why it could. Yeah, I probably sure was. So this could be something being reflected off. So I wouldn't call it 100% paranormal, but it's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Because it ain't my thumb, my finger, or that's my index finger, or my middle finger, one or the other. I don't care.
I don't like that picture.
And there's the evil bear.
We also have some audio that Charles is ready to share through. So I don't know, Charles. Do you want to? Let me just play the.
I'll stop sharing.
I'll play the audio first, and then I'll play the video.
Yeah.
You want to lead up? I'm gonna probably play the first one. That's like 10 seconds. It's a bunch of. Actually, it's a good example of disembodied voice.
Hey, 1 second. If this disembodied voice says, "Take the Buccaneers," I'm walking out.
Yeah. It's just gonna be the first one talking or sitting around, and they all hear an additional voice, and they all take it. So
let's do this. Let's do it.
All right.
But I swear to God, Brady's gonna throw 4 touchdowns. I'm walking out.
All right, here we go. Wait. Hold on, give me a minute. Okay.
Now, what did you catch these with, Charles? What were you using?
Just like good old Walmart cheap deep digital voice recorder.
Here we go. Ready?
You don't need equipment. You really don't.
Do I get the job yet? Or do you want one of the ladies? Do you hear anyone hear a sound there?
It sounded like, ooh.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought
That wasn't one of us? No.
No.
Do I get the job yet?
Did you hear that? Yeah.
I heard it.
You know what I'm looking for, man. I'm like half deaf in one ear as it is. Let me know when something's coming so I can be ready for what I'm listening for.
These are just play. I can play the ones that are video, and we'll tell you what to look for. So give me a second. Let me play those.
What?
When you're playing something for somebody over the internet, if you don't have
really hard. The one that he played was I took that at the Sterling Opera House in Derby, Connecticut, and when you hear me speak, I think you genius, Kev. I think you've heard it because you seem to like be kind of surprised. But as I'm speaking, you hear like almost like a woman or something going, and then you hear
that. I just didn't know, like, because without knowing the context, it's hard to.
Yeah, that's exactly my point.
Yeah.
You gonna play it again, buddy? I'll put it back on.
Sure. Here we go. Ready?
Hey.
Or do you want one of the ladies? Do you hear anyone hear a sound there?
It sounded like, ooh.
Yep.
Yeah, I heard it too. One of us? No.
Do I get the job yet? Or do you want one of the ladies? Do you hear anyone hear a sound there?
It sounded like, ooh.
Yep.
Yeah, I heard
I
it too.
thought
That wasn't one of us? No.
No.
What am I?
It's Mike, it's like a who at the end of ladies. It's like mixed in with the word ladies.
Is not his voice cracking?
No.
All right, put it again then. I thought that was his voice cracking.
We got more.
Do I get the job yet? Or do you want one of the ladies? Do you hear anyone hear a sound there?
Does it sound like? Yep.
Yeah.
I heard that. There was
You know what?
no.
That sounded like he pulled a Peter Brady. That's what that sounded like. You're gonna ask please, things will change.
I have some video presentation. So
All right.
I can play those. There's going to be 3 of them. I'll let Charles lead you in. This is the New Inn. I think that's in England, Charles.
The New Inn is in Gloucestershire, England. It's so new. It was built back in 1450.
You get around, huh, Charles?
That I do. Been to Europe 8 times so far.
Can you just set up the clip?
Now the New Inn is a there it is. It used to be very popular with Shakespearean stuff, and there was a fire there that killed a little girl. Other than that, it's just a very old building because it's England, and of course it's old. And I remember we did an investigation in the night because me and my friend thought it would be kind of fun to do. I do believe this is the one where you hear somebody going, Yeah. Okay, because sometimes I kind of forgot what I sent you.
All right, I'm going to play it. Here we go, guys.
So they're going,
Everybody see
Yeah,
it?
over there.
There, that right there, right?
Yeah, it's your time.
Did you see that? Did you hear that? Everything okay?
I totally heard it, but let me just hear them all in context again.
All right, I'm going to play it right from the beginning. Here we go.
It's 5, so around 17 will be the next one. 18.
Well, I played it 3 times.
Well, there's 3 different hmms, right?
No, I just repeated it 3 times, mainly for so everybody can kind of, so they can hear it.
And that one definitely exists. I was trying to figure out how the 3 hmms fit together.
Oh no, it was just the same. It was the same whom. I just repeated it 3 times. All the clips, the video clips, they will be repeated 3 times.
I think that very much. I couldn't explain the That's definitely a Would you say so?
Yeah, trust me, it was very interesting hearing that because I'm like,
Hold on.
for one thing, it sounded feminine and there was no women with us, unfortunately.
So,
Okay.
So that's the new thing.
So just a question for you. So, I guess why were you there? Like, I'm assuming obviously this place has been around since 1450. If there's been paranormal activity, they've probably had to investigate a number of times. Like, how did you get into that place? Like, what's the backstory?
I was actually in Gloucestershire, England, I took a ghost tour with my friend, and this lady took us all around the city, and the last stop was the New Inn, and she said a lot of the rooms. She explained everything. A lot of the rooms are haunted. They think it might be kind of related to one of the queens, and I'm totally blanking because on her name. But she was one of the queens that got her head chopped off. Like after, I want to say her last name was Gray, but I might be wrong. And supposedly she haunts it, but I don't think so because she was actually executed in London, and she was only in there for maybe like 2 days. So I don't know why she would be hanging out there. It's not even I hope they don't sue me, but it's not. The place was actually the courtyard was nice. The rooms were dumpy as hell, and so I asked my friend, is like, you know what? I want to go there and investigate. We never really got to do like a sit down investigation overnight. So we rented a couple rooms, which was kind of cheap because the places, I have a feeling that sometimes they charge by the hour. And so we spent the night there, or 2 nights there, investigating.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. All right, so yeah, and then so you had the recording. Was there anything else from that particular one?
That I actually only decided just to present the ones where you can actually really hear.
Yeah.
A couple of knocks and weird noises and stuff like that. Apparently, insulting the queen can really get pissed people off, which it was a spirit box, but apparently I got them quite angry over that.
Wow.
Weird. Huh?
All right, guys, I got another one I want to play from Charles.
Yep.
I'll bring it up. Let me add it to the screen.
My screen, yeah.
Yeah, I brought it up.
Hold on.
There.
Who's there?
Oh, there we
It's
go.
like multi-dimension right there.
That's infinity.
Let's see what this one is.
Can you see it?
Well, we see something. Oh, okay. So let me give you a little bit of history of this place. And I'll explain the
Hold on, it's like okay, go ahead.
Okay, the West Kent of Loughborough is in Avebury, UK. So this is England again. Now, this thing is not that old. It's only 5,500 years old. Practically new. And it was a burial chamber that you can go into. They estimated it was about 40 to 50 bodies buried in there. And it's a part of sort of like a religious ceremony area where they had like Stonehenge like structures and stuff like that. So my friend and I went there, and we were alone, which was actually really cool because it was also in the middle of a field, and we went inside it and did an investigation, tried to do something. One thing I know is, which you see a lot in some of these shows, is that the people will go to places like Japan or France or India and speak English. I assuming if there's any spirits here, they would be from that era and wouldn't speak English. So I did my best to speak Welsh, which would have been the closest language they would have spoken. It would have been something like a Gaelic tongue. And we got this response, and we'll explain it. I'll explain it after.
Here we go.
All right. Let's do this shit. No, it didn't play. I think it paused right when they were supposed to say the word.
All right, hold on. Let me do it again. Can you hear me?
Kevin, did you notice that?
Yeah, it stopped right before. Oh, okay, I heard it that time.
No, do it again,
Let me go back.
please.
I'll go back. Here we go.
You definitely heard her.
It sounds like a whisper saying hell too.
Yeah.
Sounds like a blonde woman.
Yeah, maybe. Now I have no clue what that is, what that means, but I did look up Welsh words.
Yeah.
If you separate it, we'll go to the Edinburgh Vaults in a second. It might mean the gathering in Welsh, which they would have done religious gatherings at that area. And I can't say for sure that's what it means because I don't know Welsh and I don't know Gaelic.
Well, it's close though. Hell, wouldn't HEL be the prefix? Wouldn't that be a meaning of a group or gathering?
Yeah, that's what I assume. Of course, it'd also be saying hell you. I mean, or whatever like that. It could totally be English, but
Yeah, it could be that too. Yeah.
Now we're off to Scotland.
All right.
The Edinburgh Vaults. Now, this one might be I wanted to present this. It might be a little bit hard to hear. There is a person talking. And so you have to sort of pay attention to the bottom a little bit. The Edinburgh Vaults were built back in 1788. And it's famous because there were these two brothers that would kill people in the vaults and bring their bodies for medical experiments. And they got away with it because, well, the people who were living there were prostitutes and homeless and nobody cared.
As you do.
as you do. It's sort of like nothing has changed since the past couple hundred years. And it's probably that is the spookiest place I've ever been to in my life. When they turn the lights off and you're in pitch black, because that's all you're going to see is pitch black in this video, it is frightening. So there was a sort of, it sounds like somebody was saying Eddie, well, obviously it says Eddie back, but you might have to listen because there is somebody talking at the same time.
Oof.
All right, here we go, guys. Ready?
All right.
This one is probably the most active room. This one is probably the most active room.
Oh.
This one is probably the most active room.
Get that?
So you say it 3 times?
Yeah, I have it repeated 3 times.
You repeated it, or did they repeat it?
No,
I
just
repeated
looping
it for the video. It's kind of like I did it so people can hear it, try to hear
All right.
it.
Play it one more time then. Sorry.
I'm making Buddy work for it.
Freaking thing froze.
It's good you're not drinking for the show, buddy.
It is. I'm having technical difficulties. I can't fucking. Give me a second. Hold on, please.
If I had a better sound system, I would have just used mine, but I don't think you would even remotely be able to hear anything on my computer.
Yeah, it's coming up. It's slow.
We got to make enough money to get Buddy a sign, for Christ's sakes. Never mind the microphones. Jesus H. Christ.
All right, here we go.
At least little Kev's got moons. Like, look, Kev went on his way, put moons up there.
This one is probably the most active room. This one is probably the most active room.
Sounds English. So it does English tone.
Yeah, if 1788, yeah, they would have been speaking proper English, not American English, proper English.
Yeah, I could pick up the tone though. Just from the block.
And I have, I have really no clue what it means. All I know is that place was scary. There's not too many places that truly frightened me. There was a frightening experience in the basement, but I went back. You could not pay me. Well, maybe if you paid me a lot of money, but like you would have to be in the millions for me to stay in the Edinburgh Vault overnight by myself.
What
is
it like?
A lot of money to do that because it's scary in there.
Like, where are the vaults? Like, what are they? Are they in the basement of a building? Like, what's the setup?
Okay, it's actually like it's sort of like a series of tunnels that a lot of the old businesses would use to store stuff, but eventually they kind of stopped using it. There's like vaults, and then there's tunnels and everything, and then eventually homeless people started sleeping in there.
Okay.
You know, I mean, some of the restaurants still use them for storage, and those are usually blocked off. They usually have they have doors to block off certain areas you're supposed to. You have to get special permission to go into this area. There's another place called Covenant's Prison, which is sort of like Edinburgh's version of a concentration camp. But because you can only get special permission to go in there, and Edinburgh Vaults is another one. It was kind of interesting because it shows the grueling history that the human race has.
Question, Charles. You said that the Edinburgh Vaults were probably the most haunted, the most creepiest places you ever been in Europe, right? And what about North America? Where would you say is probably the number one haunt here in the United States?
Oh, good question. I was going to say that
you've been to.
Yeah, I know. I'm because there's been so many creepy places, but I'm going to say East Hartford, Connecticut. The Mac and Beamont House, or the hotel,
house.
Yeah, the Huguenot House. Sorry, the Huguenot House.
I've been there. It is creepy.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was creepy, but I definitely found out to be very haunting.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of just like creep factor. Now, in terms of getting the vibes of ghosts, yeah, the Huguenot House was definitely. In terms of just the creep factor, was the S.K. Pierce Mansion in Garner, mainly because of those dolls. Those dolls look like they're gonna murder you.
Wait, where is it?
Follow you home,
Gardner, Mass.
Okay.
Charles, have they ever gotten attached to you?
No, I'm boring. Who wants to get attached to me?
Yeah.
But do you ever tell them like to stay away from you personally? Like, do you ever like have to give that warning? You do?
I do, just in case. I'll tell you this one story. I think, buddy, I might have told you this. I will not use the person's name. We'll call him Teddy. I don't know. I don't want to use his real name, so I'll just say my friend. My friend went to Spider's Gate Cemetery in Leominster, Massachusetts, and he did a session there and stuff like that. Sometime later, he started seeing things in the house and outside. It kind of, I don't want to say made him crazy, but he definitely started getting issues from it. He actually did end up in the hospital. It's kind of hard. I don't want to give out that person's information. It's his business today. So I'm trying to be as, generic as possible. Now, I thought he was just, something was really wrong with him, like sick-wise or whatever. So he had a couple cats. So I decided to go to his house while he was in the hospital. I stayed in the house to take care of the cats. While I was in his house, I felt like I was being watched.
Oh.
And I'm like,
oh,
maybe he wasn't anything wrong. I actually slept with the light on. I was just so uncomfortable. So what I did was I had some friends who kind of, they were mediums, and I know I say I'm kind of a little skeptical, but at this point it's like, hey, what the hell?
And it works.
They went in there. The first place they went into was the bedroom, which I refused to sleep in because I was uncomfortable sleeping in there. And one of the ladies said, I'm getting a name, and she said Hezabeth. Instantly knew who it was. When my friend presented his evidence of what happened there, one of the tombstones he did a session by was with a woman named Hezabeth.
Oh, God.
And so we assume that he got himself a girlfriend, and I'm assuming the girl, I'm making kind of funny, but yeah, we think that was probably one of few incidents of an attachment. And it came home with him, and maybe she was jealous or something like that, but she excuse my language, but she really fucked him up. I think he would agree. He would agree. Like I said, I'm not giving out, for privacy reasons, but I think he would agree that, yeah, she was a bitch.
So how does it play out? Did they like cleanse the house or something?
They cleansed the house. They also found, they were like, what's wrong with this closet? And they like, uh-oh. I looked and he opened up the closet. It's like, oh yeah, there's an Ouija board.
What the fuck is with these things?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. And I'm not as open-minded to an Ouija board. I just think it's just a little silly game. But I know some people kind of take it a bit too seriously. So we burned the Ouija board, and he was actually fine after that. And we make jokes that he had a jealous girlfriend.
Oh, God.
Dude, that Ouija board, I don't understand it. I would love to do like a whole hour on the origin of it and just figure out what the whole mechanics of it and why people think it works. Like,
you got a guy for that too, believe it or
I
not.
always feel like somebody's pushing the goddamn thing myself. I don't know about you guys. Like, I don't trust anybody.
I've done it. Oh man, I've totally done it. Boy, when you're younger and you're playing with a bunch of scared kids, you push that thing to Satan, and it is right on.
Yeah.
Well, man, I have pushed it.
No, I hear you. So we're already 8 minutes past the hour, which is always happened to us. We're very fast. Charles, I would love to have you come back.
Sure.
And just continue where we left off. Like, just weave some more yarn. Tell some more stories. This is interesting. You guys have anything you want to add though before we wrap things up?
I'm sorry, really quick. I got to do something.
Right,
I'm raising money for my cousin. It's Dale, who was our first guest on the show. It's her son. I'm just going to show you this guy's really quick. I posted on Ocean State Paranormal. It's posted on my own website. It's Jimmy B Fund. He's 28 years old. He was diagnosed with B-cell lymphoma just before Christmas, days before Christmas.
Oof.
Battling chemo right now. He's not working. He moved home about 2 months ago, right before he was diagnosed, and doesn't have a pot to piss in. So they're raising money for this kid, and they're donating the GoFundMe page. It's Dale's son. He's 20 years old. He's my cousin. Please help him out. Anything is appreciated. Thank you very
Can I
much.
ask you a question?
What-
Can you guys get your hands on one of these haunted places overnight?
Yeah, we do.
All right.
Yeah.
We have
Why don't you get the like a who's who?
Coronavirus shut everything down.
What?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. COVID.
It stopped everything.
Yeah, COVID.
Doing active fundraising events.
But with COVID coming off,
Really?
I know,
Yeah.
but we are coming out of it. Like we are gonna somewhat come out of it.
Yeah.
They're gonna allow people to be out more. What I'm saying is,
Absolutely. And when we do,
Yeah.
I have 2 venues in East Greenwich that are more than welcome to have public events, and that we do. And all the money that we raise goes right back into the organizations.
Are you looking for an event, or you're looking to do like a show for like an investigation or something?
No.
We could do that too.
what I'm trying to say, I'm over here trying to say it for Christ's sakes. Get a who's who of people that are in the paranormal business, whatever you want to call it, right? Hype it up as a night where you're gonna go to some place that's extremely haunted. Hype that up to the nines. Talk about the people that are there, the times they've seen spirits. Hype the shit out of it, and then pay people to come stay the night with you in these haunted ass places. I mean, I'm dead serious. I maybe give them a cot, like a little mattress. Make it seem extreme. Scare the shit out of them. Give them something to remember. I'm being serious. You want to raise some money? This is how you guys can raise some money. Let's get everybody together in one space, see what happens to them overnight.
Unfortunately, the thing with the paranormal is it's not on command. I mean, you can get
No.
and then
That's
the same
fine.
night busted in another place. You know, it's just,
Buddy, that's fine.
yeah.
It's
You
kind of like a
don't-
whale watch.
Yeah, you don't guarantee anything. You don't guarantee them anything except a good time. And we'll have beer there. We'll play
Beer and
great
alcohol.
music, and we'll have a good time. That's what I'm saying. You want to raise money? Let's do it that way. Kev,
Raise
go ahead.
the bond, motherfucker.
Yeah. In the meantime, buddy, what was the GoFundMe? I didn't get the actual name of the GoFundMe. Was it the Jimmy V Foundation or was it something different?
Jimmy B Fund. It's
Send it to me. I'll put it on the website, man.
yeah. I'll send you the link.
Okay.
All right. It's his best friend set up a GoFundMe page, and his mother's.
Okay.
I still think a get together would be huge, making a bunch of money for him. But those are my thoughts.
If they have a gift certificate, they can donate. She's doing a raffle throughout March to also raise money for him. So,
All right, we'll figure out a way to help the kid out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get people to hear us. The more attention we get, the better off we are. So I'm gonna start to wrap things up. We've been doing really well. The site itself, Legit Fantasy Sports. We started with Legit Fantasy Football. That got to be too big. We became Legit Fantasy Sports. I was just doing the schedule with Kev. We now have a show for Monday night, Wednesday night, 2 on Thursday night. There's going to be a new one on Friday night, and then Sunday morning and Sunday night. So we're producing like a good 7 hours worth of original content a week. We got like 4 or 5 different shows. We keep getting really good people to like being in certain sports or whatever, certain niches. And this is something I really wanted. I contacted Buddy a long time ago. I kept saying to Kev, even way back, I want to do something different on Sunday night. It's got to be a non-sports show that's like Art. I kept saying Art Bell because on a Sunday night, I just remember chilling to Art Bell, and that was like the greatest things. He would talk about all the different paranormal type things and spaceships and whatnot,
right.
and I loved it.
Well,
and I think
I do have some guests lined up, Mike. Next week, we hope to get back with Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart. Yeah, it's Kevin Hart. The white
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's a great comedian. He's
before
awesome.
he moves south for the winter and for the rest of his life, we're gonna try and get Kevin into a haunted location here in Rhode Island where he can show you various tools of the trade. Kevin has every single investigative bell and whistle. Charles has investigated with him. He's investigated with us before. He's got everything. So we hope to see what he's got, what kind of tools to what via Spirit Box, via K2, via different stuff that he has. Also, the following week, I got a guy by the name of Christopher DiCesare. He's an author. He wrote a book to document his experiences that he had when he moved away to SUNY. He wrote a book. It's called Surviving Evidence. It's really good. His story is amazing, and I just like to have him on here to chat. I got a host of people in line from demonology to UFOs to Bigfoot. So we're gonna see what we can do here.
So yeah, look, so we've been doing really well. I've noticed through the Instagram, and I haven't been looking into that the mail from those sites, but we've been getting positive feedback everywhere, especially for Legit Paranormal. This show is it's
swimming along, Michael. It's swimming.
It's reaching a great group of people, is what it is. It's Super Bowl Sunday. I can't wait to go downstairs, watch bad commercials, and yell at the TV and just scream and hope that Tom Brady hurts himself, not too badly, not too long. I don't want to permanently end the guy's life, but I would love it if his knee just spun around like this once.
No.
Yeah. And he walks off and he retires and he's happy. He's got Giselle. But Patty Mahomes takes the trophy back today. Guys, Charles Reese, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Buddy Thayer, thank you so much as always.
Awesome.
The genius Kev, get ready for some football, my friend. It's me, Mike Lepre, Legit Paranormal from LegitFantasySports.com. Come check us out for all of our shows past and future. Thank you, and go Patty Mahomes.